I had this experience when I was 12 years old that kind of changed the trajectory of my life, my spiritual life, really. Um, when I was 12, I was praying to God for a boyfriend. And I know that might sound maybe silly, but my dad had moved away at this time, and I really felt a deep void for a male figure in my life. And so I figured I could pray to God for this. And I did have a relationship with God at a very young age. I had a grandmother that would always tell me to talk to God like he's a person. And so I thought no different, and I would talk to God. And I asked him for a boyfriend, and I was meant my prayer with all my heart, and I was crying and praying, and I fell asleep sobbing that night, and I wake up knowing that I'm going to marry a man named Brian. Kid you not. When I was 19 years old, I met a man named Brian, and when I was 20, 13 months later, I married him. I wasn't just choosing guys that were named Brian. I kind of forgot about it a little bit. Just didn't think much of it. And then all of a sudden one day, I remember laying in bed and I wake up and I was like, oh my gosh, it happened. So in my mind, I believed that God gave me a gift, and I thought nothing other than that. Well, Brian wasn't a man of God, and he would end up leaving me for another woman. And this was devastating to me. I was 28 years old. I had a 1.5-year old, and I had let's see, my daughter was 5, and I did not spiritually understand how this could have happened. I knew I had that experience. And so this started a lot of questions. And then one day I would be lying on the floor screaming at God. And I said, why, God? Why can't you talk to me now? Why can't you talk to me now? And my 5-year-old walked in the room, and word for word, she says, this is your opportunity to stand up for yourself. God is Lord, He is mighty, and He can fight for you. And then she just goes back to normal. And I believed with my whole heart that God spoke through her, so that this would help suffice me for a while. But meanwhile, my husband is out with this other woman. And then I became very angry at God.